to Aussie Scrapper, and this is the sketch that inspired today's layout. It's a sketch from Sketchabilities that I found on Pinterest, and it was number 111. So the first thing I did was I went through my papers to try and find something suitable, and in the end I took inspiration from what she is wearing, which is that she's wearing a denim overalls and a red jumper. So once I decided that I wanted to take inspiration from her, what she's wearing, I started going through all my papers that were all my blue papers, all my red papers, and one of the things I discovered was I didn't have a lot of red papers. It was very limited. Oops, my camera stopped recording at some point in time. Anyway, these are the papers that I decided on in the end. I went with blue tones. So there's a shimmery blue, and then I cut out some other shades of blue that I sort of thought went together. None of them are from any collections. They're just odds and ends from my stash that I'm trying to use up. As the sketch called for a circle around the photos or the layers of photos, I'm just using this old tool that I had in my stash to draw some circles all around. In the end, I decide on 3 circles, and I do a lot of hand stitching around this, which you'll see in a minute. So there are my 3 circles all done and ready for some paper piecing. I'm just using my Amy Tangerine little piecing mat with the little piecer there, and I love this tool. It makes life so much easier. I'm going to cut to the end now, as I don't want to bore you with footage of me piecing holes through my paper, especially since I have to do it through 3 circles that I drew. My holes are all pieced now through all 3 circles, and I'm just using some gesso to tone down all this blue. I just found it a bit too, just a bit too dark for what I had in mind. I want to incorporate some red into this blue paper, so I'm using the packaging technique with a red gelato. So all I'm doing is putting some red gelato on a old package that I've got there, and I spritz it with water and I just smush it down everywhere. And I do this till I'm happy with the end result. I know it doesn't look like much, but in the end, I really like the end result because most of it gets covered up with the photos anyway, and paper and embellishment, so it ends up looking good in the end. I didn't record any of my hand stitching as my children swim, and I did most of the hand stitching while I was sitting around a pool for 2 hours. And needless to say, some people thought it was pretty strange that I was doing some embroidery on paper. Anyway, Reject Shop. These are new to the Reject Shop. They're $4 and you get all these stencils. I bought every single one because I thought they were really good value. And what surprised me was the quality. I thought they were going to be really flimsy, but they're actually not. They're quite sturdy. I was really surprised. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just using some embossing ink through the stencil, and I'm just going to emboss those ink splatters with some red embossing powder, and it's the perfect shade of red. I actually got this from Pink Cadillac. It's run by Christine, lovely lady, and she's got some great products. So go to her Facebook page if you want to get some reasonably priced scrapbooking supplies here in Australia. It's called Pink Cadillac, and I highly recommend it. She's a lovely lady. Anyway, what am I doing here? Using a different stencil this time from the Reject Shop, and I'm just using some Black Soot Distress ink. Yes, and I can't even remember what I'm doing. Oh, you can see that it's early mornings. I'm still in my pajamas. That's a bit sad. Sorry about that, and the pink fluffy robe. Anyway, it is what it is. So I'm bringing everything back in, trying to see what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to ink do the same process as before. I thought it needed another balance to balance it out a bit, so I'm just putting another ink stain. And this is where I make a mistake. I forgot that the Distress ink in that Black Soot takes quite a bit of a while to dry, and I didn't use my heat gun. So now I have to go in with a brush and just take off all that excess embossing powder. Anyway, it worked out in the end, so it wasn't a major drama. Oh, this is some cheesecloth that I had in my stash, and at this point in time is when I'm realizing it's just too harsh and I wanted something softer, so I got my cheesecloth out to try and soften the layout out, but that doesn't, I'll end up using the cheesecloth, but not in that manner that I've got there. What am I doing? Oh yes, I got my this white ink that I had in my stash from Memories, and I'm just using it to ink around the edge and trying to soften that blue up, because I do want to use that blue cardstock, but it's just a bit too dark. This is what I'm starting to think now, but I continue with it and I persevere. And on this other white pattern paper, I'm going in with some, I started with the white ink and that didn't work, so then I went in with some gelatos. And what I should have done, had I not been so lazy, is I should have used a bit of gesso just around the edges, but I didn't do that, so I made it a little bit harder for myself to just spread that gesso around. Anyway, it doesn't matter, it all works out in the end. So that's all I'm doing here. This is the Memories dye ink pad that I've been using. And I'm now decided that that black is way too harsh, and so I'm going in with the ink and toning it down. This is where I'm starting to hate the layout. I just think it's too dark for my precious little girl, and I trying to make it work, but I really, at this point in time, I really hate it. I'm now trying really hard to rescue this layout, as I'm really not liking it. It's too harsh, like I mentioned earlier. So I think, okay, what can I do to soften it? And what comes to mind is to get a piece of white cardstock. And when I tried it, I liked that. So I'm just trimming down my layout and, yes, giving it a bit of a border there. And then I think, oh, I've got this viscous hole punch. No, it wasn't a hole punch. It was a border punch. That's what they were called. And I really, really like it. It just made everything so much daintier, so much more feminine. And once I put it against that white cardstock, I go, oh, yes. And then I remembered I had this white polka dot cardstock. So off I went to my stash, rescued it from beneath all my layers of paper, and I start layering everything together, and I just think, yes, I can save this layout. This is when I'm starting to get a bit excited, a bit happy, and I'm really liking where this layout is going now. So I used double-sided tape to adhere everything down, and I can finally say I'm starting to like this layout. This made me really happy once I worked this all out. And so I bring back everything back in, and I think, okay, now how can I soften that blue patterned paper? I like it because it really draws out that denim, but it was just a little bit too dark. And that's when you saw me use the cheesecloth. So I've done something that I've never done before. I just used some glazed medium and used it like a glue. It dries clear, so don't worry about those blobs of glue there. And I just use a paintbrush and I smooth it all down. And it gives all these, I'm actually on purpose drawing in the material to give all that little ruffled effect. I was really, really happy with how this worked out. So this is when I'm thinking, oh, I like that texture that gives in. So I'm purposely adding some of those, I don't know if you would call it wrinkles or, anyway, whatever that effect is called. I love it, and I just keep on adding and adding and adding. And this did take me a bit of a while because I did play around with it for a while. I'm just showing you what I used there. I love that. So you just have to let it dry for a little bit, but that's okay. I let it dry, and this is when I go, oh, I love this. I love this. Look at all that texture, and you can still see the blue through it. That made it for me. I'm really, really happy. I'm just showing you that I've got the 3 layers there and the border punch. How pretty is that? It's just amazing, just adding that little bit of border, how it just changes the whole layout. I'm now, what am I doing? I'm working on my title, so I'm just showing you the thickers that I was using. And the title ends up being, Love This Girl So Much. So the love came from American's Crafts Thickers, and it's called Hello Joy. And then I used the Kaisercraft Mini Alpha stickers to write out the rest of the title. All I'm doing for the next few minutes is just gluing everything down. That is the lace, the branding strips, the love, and that's the whole title. Love this girl so much. So I glue all that down. Nothing exciting. I think I edited most of it out too, just to make this video a little bit shorter. Oh, I found this in my stash. They're little sequences, but they're flowers, and I got it from one of the junk stores in Windsor. And I also then decided to add these word stickers from Cocoa Vanilla. It's from the Love Always collection, and the one on the top right hand corner, that read "You Complete Me," and the other one, the smaller one towards the left, that read "Happy Days." Now I wanted to jazz up the love a bit, so see how sparkly that is? I was just using Bo Bunny glitter paste. And I gessoed my chipboard, that's from WOW, and the chipboard's called Love Hearts Panel. There it is, and I then used some Perfect Pearls on it. So I'm liking how that's looking and really happy. And I decided I wanted to add a little bit of red to it. So on the love, I just added some glue, and then I sprinkled it with these micro beads that I also got from Christine at Pink Cadillac. So I'm using a bit of Pink Cadillac's products in this layout. I'll have to let her know. Anyway, that's what it looks like, and I really, really like it. So then you just see me plonk it down on the video. What am I saying? You just see me plonk it down on the layout. And that's it for the layout. So thank you very much for watching, if you're still watching. And until next time, bye.